think he can hear. Oh boy.
You got it.
Oh boy. Sorry, everyone. I'm not sure if we're ready or not. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, well, welcome everyone. I'd like to call this Recreation Committee meeting to order Thursday, May 15th at 2 p.m. Let's have a brief moment of silence. Amen. All right, do I have a motion to approve the April 17th minutes?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it. We do have a public participation period. I do want to remind the public, anyone who's signed up to speak, that it is not a question and answer between the council members and the public, but anything you'd like to share with us, please feel free. And if everyone can keep it to maybe a minute or so, I'd appreciate it. Thanks. Do you have a list of sign up, or I guess y'all can just come up one at a time if you'd like to speak? Okay. Absolutely.
Hi, thank you for letting me speak this afternoon. My name's Corey Altenberg, and I grew up here, well, not here, but in West Ashley, playing rec, club, soccer, and for the high school. I have a family now with 3 children living in West Ashley who all play club sports or city sports of some kind. I'm here with my friends and colleagues and supporters representing the Ashley River Soccer Club. We recently formed the Ashley River Soccer Club as a nonprofit to fill a need that West Ashley has. We love the rec department. All of our children have benefited greatly from the tight ship that Stacy Collins runs over there. All of our children have been in the rec department. We've all coached for the rec department, and it definitely has its purpose. There just comes a point as kids play sports for a couple of years that they want to level up and go to play club where they get higher quality coaching and more competition. Right now in West Ashley, there is a gap for that because our children that are outgrowing the rec program are going to James Island and Mount Pleasant clubs to pay them money and drive across town multiple times a week to play for their clubs. And we want to keep those kids in West Ashley to be a feeder program for our high school. And we want to do this with our stable, well-run soccer club in partnership with the city, high school, and community to keep these kids, like I said, on this side of town using West Ashley City Fields. The biggest obstacle often for a new club starting is having consistent access to lighted, adequate fields. And we feel like this is where the city can come in and help us. I grew up playing soccer here and played behind every Piggly Wiggly, Winn-Dixie, and church that West Ashley had to offer. There's not that many green spaces over there these days, and the West Ashley Park is a beautiful facility that I think can be used for something other than just the rec program. If the city allows us to reserve access to West Ashley Park fields, it will allow our club to keep costs down, therefore allowing us to keep our fees down for the kids that want to play for our club. In other parts of town where many kids are going to play, not only are the fees higher, but they're also often using city fields on that part of town. So we are just asking for our kids to be able to use city fields in West Ashley. We've had many positive preliminary meetings with Lori, and she knows we're not trying to compete with the rec program, but just be complementary to it. We want it to be a mutually beneficial arrangement. We've talked about coaching clinics and camps and ways that we can help each other. We're not asking for it for free. I have spoken, we have all spoken with many West Ashley City Councilmen that are in support of this, as well as State Senator Ed Sutton has also given his support. Our big ask is for you, the committee, to support us moving forward in this process to allow our clubs to use West Ashley Park and other city fields for our club. You should all have a copy of our proposal that we emailed out. If you don't, we have some over here with a lot further details. And if you have any questions, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank y'all for coming. And I believe you said there aren't any other speakers signed up online. Okay. But we did receive 50 in support of the West Ashley Soccer Club. Okay, so thank you everyone for coming out and sending in your public comment. All right, moving on to old business. The recreation ordinance, just a quick update, as all of you might know, we had first reading of those updates on Tuesday, so we'll continue moving along the process. And please prepare, I already spoke to some council members, but think of who you'd like to be on the Recreation Commission in your district. Any questions? All right, moving on. Old business again, the QR code at city parks to utilize for feedback.
I
Sorry,
can do that.
Mr. Mayor, I keep sticking this on there.
No, I think it's great. It is on our radar. We are working with IT on a broader platform, frankly, for feedback, but specific to rec facilities as well. So I think it's a great idea. I think figuring out how to thread it into our what will be a modified platform in the upcoming months is a great idea and will be implemented.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think just a follow-up question, because I know I think I hear what you're saying. It's just, there's a much broader website, maybe something happening. Because I just wanted to kind of convey that it was more just a way so people could access our current website too. You know, just a current way because our fields, a lot of times that you can rent them now on RecTrack on the online system. So that was just a quick, easy QR code just to direct them that way. But I understand if you're initiating it with a broader approach, then I'll stop putting it on the agenda.
Keep reminding.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, moving on. The Peninsula Basketball Camp. Spoke with Councilmember Mitchell briefly, but I know I'm not sure if he already received an update, but if anyone can give me an update on that.
I've talked to Mr. Jones twice, but we've not talked about that particular issue. The permit's in and it's done, but I haven't received any additional comments from them about needs they have.
Okay. Okay. All right. Moving on. Let's see. All right. New business, capital, or actually, do I need a motion? Would the committee be all right if we moved 5M to the top of the list? I think Mr. Ormond needs to get back outside to the golf course as quickly as possible.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. And this is for the approval of rate changes at the municipal golf course.
Madam Chair, if I may, before discussion, I'll make a motion for approval so we can have it on the floor. Second.
All right, all right, discussion, go ahead, please.
Thank you. So all we're really trying to do here is make sure that we're keeping the golf course in the black into the future. The whole operation, the model that we use for our rates is typically a European-based model where we charge more for out-of-town play, have much lower discount rates for residents, and even more discounts for seniors, and we don't charge juniors under 18. So we basically are just keeping the same layout here. We're going to raise our city senior rates just $1. Basically, it just has a good ring. With a card, it's $40. So $3 across the board otherwise, and then non-residents, which we've seen an insanely ridiculous influx of demand, going to do an $8 increase. So in comparison to the other courses, around us. If you just look at the basic chart here on the second page, I think that you've got, you're seeing rates in the hundreds pretty much across the board. Mount Pleasant, West Ashley, and anything that's accessible, basically. Kiowas are up to, I think those are, of course, $600 range. So we get a lot of push our way. I think we would get that either way. Of course, it's in great condition. It gets pummeled with traffic. We do have to make sure that we are prepared if we have any necessary improvements or upgrades to make. So, and you also got to factor in if we were to have a storm evacuation of some sort, we don't have a membership to rely on. So if we just take a much bigger hit if we don't have traffic coming through the door. So it's all a safety net for the most part.
One quick question, Madam Chairman.
Sure. Mr. Councilmember Gregory?
Yeah, I think I heard you say non-residential went up $1.
The non-residents, so that's anybody basically out of the 294 zip codes, an $8 increase. So we'd be looking at $90 to ride a golf cart, play 18 holes of golf. In comparison to Legend Oaks and Somerville's 105, and then up to Stono Ferry's about 150.
But it's going up $8 for non-residential senior, weekday, all weekend, correct?
Right. Yeah, we don't differentiate weekday, weekend for tourists. What's the difference for if you're on vacation?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ormond. Quick question. I know I might get a little grief for it, but I think these are extremely reasonable increases. And I know that you've, looked at this. I mean, we are not a for-profit golf course by any means, but just like every other area, we've seen price increases in, like turf and everything that y'all utilize. Is this going to be enough to sort of cover some of it?
Well, we have looked at that. I mean, equipment is a big one. And on our budget this year, we're showing a much smaller margin, mainly because of that. So it's an adjustment from that standpoint. And if we need to make another adjustment, it's a minor one, at this time next year, or even sooner, may be something to consider. But I think this is a safe approach. We're looking at basically generating about $150,000 additional. So far, we haven't had to raise rates since the renovation, which was not the plan going into the renovation. We were looking at structure like this, annually. But we hadn't had to. We hadn't had to charge juniors. We hadn't had to, increase seniors, and we've had plenty of opportunities to bring in youth programs. We're trying to get kids in from downtown. It's a challenge, but we make sure that we have this safety net so we can afford to do that if we get the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, if I could just say, the course looks incredible. What you all are able to do with this limited of a budget is very, very impressive. So I just want to say hats off for the job y'all are doing. And I'm with you. I appreciate y'all trying to keep this low, but if we do need to increase it later, then we'll do that. And I certainly appreciate you keeping it lower for the locals. And so again, I just want to compliment you all for job well done.
Thank you. It's, demand in golf, much like anything, would show that you could go, the ceiling's pretty high, but we try to put a huge emphasis on not pricing people out of golf.
It's wonderful. I concur. I mean, y'all do an incredible job over there. Everybody loves the course. I mean, juniors can play for free. It's just, it's incredible. How is since you're here, since you don't come to, you might not come here much. How's the bathroom, the new restroom?
Just unlock the doors for
All right.
for the last repairs.
Awesome.
Hopefully we'll have them open tomorrow.
We're going to have
A ribbon cutting?
a paper cutting.
Wonderful.
I know.
Yes, it's
I've been
been
asked.
long awaited. And then just quickly follow up, the website, any website adjustments as far as the resident and non-resident? I know this was a conversation a long time ago, especially when in regards to fees and our sort of outdated website. How do you feel like that needs to be a further discussion, or do you feel like we're capturing the city versus non-city? I know it's sometimes a difficult conversation because when you live on James Island,
Yeah,
You know.
it's still a little bit of a manual process, but
okay,
We have cleaned it up some. It's more of a day-to-day thing though, and I certainly think there's an opportunity
Okay,
to clean it up more, but it's there's logistical curveballs all over the place.
perfect. All right, thanks for
We have
that.
started putting a bigger emphasis though on no-shows, so
Okay,
we do
oh, good.
charge no-shows on a daily basis if we get any. It's not a huge percentage total, but it's adding up.
We're capturing
Just
some
getting,
of
just
that
getting the point
cancellation.
across is what it is.
Okay, perfect. And you still probably have the cheapest burger on the island. So,
Yeah.
I mean, again, we're not here to make money, you know, it's a
Don't have to
public
play
golf
golf to
course.
come eat cheeseburgers.
And a
Right,
good burger, Marshall.
Well, thank you so much for coming down and sharing that. And we already have a motion on the floor, so all in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ormond. All right, moving on, we'll go back to the top, capital project updates. Mr. Consberg?
Good afternoon, everybody. So I have a little bit of a mixed report here, and some, if it's okay, that we take A, B, really F, G, and H, and I can go through everything, and it's 3 pages like I've done in the past. And just so everybody knows, these are recreation-related projects. These are not all city projects. We try to just focus on rec-related projects here at this committee. So if that's okay, I'll just go ahead and start. And
Sure,
again, I'll try to
absolutely.
move quickly, interrupt me, and ask questions.
Please, thank you.
And then the report will be within the minutes. So starting out with, and alphabetically with Daniel Island. So I reported out at the last meeting that the Department of Transportation had denied our bids based on the DBE goals. So the contractor tried to go back and get reconsideration for that, but they said no. So we're getting ready to rebid that project. Some maintenance issues on Daniel Island at the rec center, so emergency exit lights. The irrigation pump went down for Governor's Park, so we rebuilt that pump and working on the controller this week. So even though we had a little too much rain, it was good to get the rain last weekend. James Island, moving on to Fort Pemberton. Speaking of restrooms, that was delivered on the 7th and installed, and that project continues to move forward. On the same vein, the municipal restrooms were completed today at the golf course. Lot course changed out, ready for the Pro-Am this weekend. Plymouth Park Playground, I've reported out on before, but it's completed and very popular playground destination for everybody. James Island Rec Center, there was an agenda item here. We went out and we did an inspection. There was some minor issues with the playground equipment, been temporarily repaired, and we've ordered a new transfer deck, bumpy climber, and spring cylinder. So that work's underway. And then general maintenance at Bayview, we removed and repaired and reinstalled the sewer lift stations and 2 new grinder pumps and controllers out there for that restroom structure. James Island Rec Center repaired AC unit, irrigation, backflow leak. Moving on to Johns Island, in a capital projects point of view, the test fits for the new rec center and pool are nearing completion. We're continue to negotiate the contracts with the design team and the construction manager at risk. So we hope to bring that one forward to city council for approval. Right now, we're working on a small purchase order just to get the test fits done so we can then have a good plan to bring out to the public and get information and feedback from the public.
And if I may, Mr. Kronsberg, Madam Chair, if you don't mind me interrupting, I have had a sneak peek at some of the initial conceptual designs and site plans for both the Johns Island Rec Facility and W.L. Stevens redo, and I'll have to say it looks incredible. So very exciting what's looking to come there, and really excited to bring it to the public and to this committee for review.
Moving on to the Johns Island Park, Charleston County School District project, temporary certificate of occupancies were issued for fields 1 and 3. Project is not complete. There's still landscape irrigation, grading and paving work that CCSD is working on. They're bringing in some alternate contractors to remedy some non-performance with their original contractor. So then West Ashley, same update for the WL Stevens Aquatic Center at Forest Park Playground. Test fits, at the same time. Contract is under negotiation and review, and hope to have that at the next council meeting or two. West Ashley Bikeway. So this is a resurfacing project that you probably all heard about. Which included in this project is the replacement of 2 pedestrian bridges that were taken out in the mid to late 80s due to some security issues. So that design has been completed. The project's been through TRC with some minor comments. Hope to bid that out in June. West Ashley Park lighting, this one came up a number of times. It was a budget request from last year. Design is complete. Lights are expected to be installed in early June and should take about 2 or 3 weeks to get that work done. And that's street lighting on the main corridor into West Ashley Park. Facilities maintenance, Bees Landing Rec Center, some intake sump pump issues from pond to irrigation, repaired the scoreboard controller at West Ashley Park, a number of toilet repairs at many locations, replaced the air conditioning control board at Mariuzzi Park House, and repaired a leak in the AC coils at Charleston Tennis Center. Moving on into the peninsula, the Shaw Center, that work is almost complete. The fire alarm company had some parts on order that were delayed. So that work is underway today and hopefully be completed in the next couple of days, along with some additional epoxy flooring cover up and final inspections to follow. So I know everybody's eager to get back into that facility. Maintenance items on the peninsula, some shower drain unclogs, toilet leaks at Martin Luther King Pool, Jack Adams toilet repair, Moultrie replaced the hot water heater. I should say water heater. I get reprimanded that for from my wife. It's not a hot water heater. It's a water heater. Christopher Center. Christopher Center, unclog sewer line, and repair the mop sink. On to regular maintenance. So the tennis and basketball resurfacing, the contractor got delayed in other parts of the country due to the recent weather that's come across. So we're about a month behind on that. They've indicated that they're gonna be mobilizing on June 15th. And we have included the Thomas Johnson Park change up from tennis to pickleball lines to have the pickleball lines being the dominant colors. And then finally, and last but not least, our ball field and park crews have been very busy since the last report. 318 baseball, softball drags, set up about 75 baseball, softball, t-ball games, including the dragging, chalking, adjusting bases, repainting, completed the layout for 106 other games, youth and adult soccer, ultimate frisbee, and adult flag football, repainted 343 of those fields, completed fertilization on all athletic fields. And this one's an interesting one. So we're starting, and I've reported out to you on this one time before, but there's basically a bio-based product. We're trying to get away from man-made fertilizers and nitrogen. So out at West Ashley Park, Ackerman, Bees Landing Rec, James Island Rec, Bayview 3 and 4. So we're looking at fields that have another field beside them, and we're using a product called Miramichi Green. It's a biospectrum humate with micros. Basically, it's a liquid product comprised of beneficial microbes and microbiological strains to reduce the reliance of manufactured turf care products. It's a bio product. It's basically seaweed a lot of times, but it's naturally occurring and it's non-toxic, if you will. Weekly mowing and regular monitoring of irrigation. So that's the report, and happy to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions from committee members? All right, great. Well, thank you for the update, Mr. Fronsberg. I mean, I'm always excited to hear about all those things. I think it's phenomenal. what you guys do, what your staff does. The fields looked great. My family just got done another spring season and the fields looked amazing. Just everything you guys put together, parks, recreation, the programming, all the fields, just so much fun for so many of our families, both city residents and non. So, thank you for all you do. And that's really exciting. The field fertilization. I'm gonna talk to you more about that. That's really interesting. I'm sure that a lot of people would really like to
Yeah.
hear about that and it's probably going to be well received
Yeah.
because our kids, play and roll around
Yeah,
on those.
and hopefully we'll save us some money.
Oh, well, that's
So there's
there you go.
many, multiple benefits.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for that update. All right. Councilmember Shealy?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to, I saw that Ross Appel had put on here solar turf proposal. Are we discussing that today or is that a future agenda item maybe?
We did. When I get there, they did ask that it was recommended that we wait. We're going to gather some
Okay.
more information and put it on the next. I think it just made its way on here accidentally.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
All right, moving on, Stephen Washington Park, CWS, this is more just for discussion and I will take this to Public Works just very early and I did already speak to Mr. Kronsberg about it. It just regarding tap fees specifically on when we do work on our own properties and how CWS may be able to collaborate and team up. I think it's been a mission previously, but I just wanted to bring it back to the table. So nothing further to discuss here today. I'll bring it to Public Works as well, and then maybe it'll come back to Recreation, hopefully with some positive news. All right, item 5D, Barbary Woods renaming. Again, this is an update. On Tuesday, a resolution was made to name the Barbary Woods Stormwater Park after beloved Dale Morris. So that passed unanimously and we look forward to that opening. Do you know approximately? Do we have?
I don't, I can,
I'm sure it's a ways away, but it's gonna be a beautiful project and it's a wonderful way to honor Dale. All right, moving down the list, 5E, volunteer sponsors, referee. So I know that our volunteers and our sponsors and our sponsors are great, they sponsor us, but the volunteers, our referees, obviously our staff, but I just put this on here just in the hope that maybe just to sort of bring awareness that in the future, Councilmember Shealy, I know your family, I know my family, everybody's families have dedicated a lot of time and I'd love if there was a way that the city could sort of represent them and thank them. So maybe a 2026 budgetary, we can look into something like that because we're really grateful for everybody that dedicates their time to doing this.
Councilmember Porter, that's a
Please.
great idea. I just jotted a note down to go ahead and put it in our budget, which will be starting our budget asks here very soon. But we used to do something prior to COVID and we kind of got away from it. But I think geographically, it would be a great way to do it. I know our coaches from West Ashley don't want to drive to Daniel Island,
Right.
but we can certainly do that within our geographic area. And so I've already put that in to do a end of the year one for everyone. So thank you for that
Great.
idea.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for receiving it and everyone will love it. All right. So I think Mr. Kronsberg, you've covered a lot of these other updates unless Councilmember Shealy had any questions on WPAL.
Yep.
West Ashley Park, sounds like the lights are coming along, which is.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Thank you for that report. Yeah. Mr. Conzer, I don't know if you have any update on WPAL Park, or whatever we're calling that, Radio Park.
right. So the current update is that we have a permit in to demolish the old house there. So that has to go through DES, formerly DHEC. So once we get that permit, that'll be the first project is to get rid of the old house and get the
Yeah.
site cleaned up a little bit more. That's
Great.
the only update I have for that.
All right, thank you.
Great. All right. Yes, Councilmember Gregory.
So the house is not historical at all.
No, it's probably a 1970s kind of rancher. Yeah.
That was too long ago. You don't remember that. All right, thank you, Mr. Kronberg. All right, so I received a few questions about WL Stevens and the swim team. Do you want to touch on that?
Sure, you want to share?
Sure,
So one thing, I'm sorry,
Sure,
so there's a Harmony property update requested. I didn't hit that in my report.
sorry.
So the only update I have is that it closed on April 4th. The city owns it, but there's nothing more to report. So
Okay.
sorry.
Great. Any other
Thank you.
questions, Councilmember Shealy?
No, thank you very much.
Okay, great. Yes, so maybe some, I believe WL Stevens is where the swim team practices.
It's one of the sites.
One
yes.
of the sites.
Yes.
And with the construction there, are they going to have to close that pool?
So that's a great question. I mean, we've had those conversations. So at the last 3 years, 4 years since COVID, we've rented pool space from St. Andrew's Family Fitness Center in the winter months because I don't have the ability to swim in West Ashley indoors. So we use WL Stevens up until November, and then we're back in the water now. The water's warm, the air's a little cool, but the kids are swimming. We are in our long course season now, though the kids just finished up states at short course. So everyone is training right now at MLK Pool. So to answer your question, in a perfect world, I've asked Mr. Kronsberg and everyone in Capital Projects, can we keep the pool I have limping along until we get our new pool built? Whether or not that works or not, I have no idea. I expect it would probably be very expensive. It also depends on how the site is laid out as to whether or not you could actually keep both of those things. If we cannot, the city will continue to rent pool space from St. Andrews. We've also reached out to the Citadel because they do have an indoor pool that we could possibly rent as well. We have 340 swimmers on our swim team right now, our youth team. We have asked our coaches during the August month, which is when new swimmers get added to your team and can join. We do tryouts, not to increase our load anymore. I can't handle more than 340 right now with one pool and renting some other space. So I expect we'll at least be in that pool, Jason, until November. I wouldn't think construction would start prior to that. So we would at least finish out this year, and then we'll go from there depending on what our construction company tells us. But in a perfect world, yeah, that'd be great. We'll swim in one pool and we'll build another one. But it's kind of like renovating your kitchen. You still can't cook in it when you don't have something. So I think that's probably where we'd be. But we will definitely, we're already planning. Our coaches are aware of that. Our staff's aware of that. So we'll be making sure our kids and parents know that.
Okay, wonderful. And it's not, I mean, so this season, they're going to be swimming there.
This season, they're
Okay,
fine.
okay,
yes.
that's,
As a matter of fact, we did swim lesson registration last Saturday all across the city. Classes are full at James Island, West Ashley, WL Stevens, downtown at Herbert Hazel and MLK. So we are fine right now at WL Stevens, and our ladies will be back in there doing water fitness this month. So
wonderful. Okay, thank you so much. And I apologize, that may have just been I may have misunderstood. I thought it was this season, maybe, but so it sounds like we are swimming at WL Stevens all summer. I wish, right, I guess maybe it was wishful thinking too, thinking, we're just gonna build this next week, but, all right. Well, thank you for that. Moving on, so the solar turf proposal, we're going to push that to the next meeting and gather some more information, but hopefully some good information will come out of that, next month. I know the mayor just left, darn it. But this was, the next item was the planning and next steps for the Parks Bond referendum. I know we're doing such great work with the referendum, and I'm so grateful. So I don't want to sound ungrateful, but there were there were a lot of items that I know the surrounding areas are still curious about what our next steps are going to be. And just while I know there might be a phased approach to the money, I'm just wondering if there's any planning in the works.
So yes, so we've been working with the mayor on the second bond issuance and a project list. So what we're doing is we're trying to revisit the cost estimates from a number of years ago when the Parks and Rec master plan was approved. Certainly things have cost a little bit more now, 3 or 4 years later. And then the goal is to bring forward a comprehensive package of the next projects and for bond issuance. So we're not quite there yet. We're still kind of evaluating the numbers and trying to figure out a wish list of projects that could be vetted through based on the referendum vote that the voters approved.
Yeah, and I mean, and the master plan, I mean, we,
Right.
you know, 200, it's just 220 million, so.
Right.
But have any other discussions been had about just bringing in, you know, a possible private entity? I know back during the bond referendum process, you know, we had, you know, there are firms and such that help, you know, with these public-private partnerships, places around the, you know, the low country, Dorchester County, places like that have modeled things in which, you know, even the James Island County Park, you know, it's a county park, it's a public park, but you pay to get in. So I didn't know if we've looked into any more, speaking with any of those private entities or considering putting out an RFQ for those types of services?
So are you saying like assistance with managing projects?
Yes. Like,
Yes. So we actually,
well, sorry, let me take it back. I mean, some, yes, from a project management perspective, yes, but also, I mean, there are companies that go far and wide from staffing, you
right.
know, maintenance, things like that. But I think more of just at this point, the planning, the design, the
Yes.
procurement, things like that.
So a lot of that happens in the city. We'd have met with two different groups that actually provide project management services that would take a considerable amount of load off of our current staff that can only be stretched so thin. So we're hoping to have an RFQ issued. I don't have any dates yet to advertise for those specialty teams that manage projects for municipalities. Town of Mount Pleasant just started using a similar type approach like 2 years ago. So we did meet with them about a month ago. We heard how the process, so we're working on the request for qualifications right now. And so that basically what that looks like is it ends up being an on-call list scenario where when you identify a project, do a cost estimate, establish the budget, that external project manager cost would be in the budget.
Mhm.
So we just go directly to that on call and they start working.
Okay,
So that's, yes.
Okay.
We're in the process of that.
okay, all right, wonderful.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
When we say master plan, we're talking about the one Charleston plan.
Yes,
Just want to make sure.
yes.
Thank you.
That big one,
Charleston.
this one, yeah. Okay, wonderful. Any other questions from the committee? All right, we already spoke about the playground equipment. Thank you. That was nice and taped off and the kids were,
Was that what the agenda item was?
yes, the
Okay.
yes, the
Okay.
playground, yeah, the play set.
Yeah.
And then again, item M, Mr. Ormond already brought us the municipal golf course rate changes and they were unanimously approved. So that is all that we have today. I do see Councilmember Waring joined us. Councilmember Waring, if you have anything, any questions, or if you let us know. I don't think so. All right. All right, so moved. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.